This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Racer consultants are standing by. We'll take caller 9 at 844-999. Ola to play profile this in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a couple in England is getting married next month, and they just put out an ad looking for someone to film their wedding night sex.
I'm in.
They're offering $2,600 to get the job done.
I would like to DJ it based on what they're doing.
Oh, no.
Like, I want to do live action.
Doing the butt.
Yeah.
Just put it in your mouth.
I'm watching and playing what I feel is appropriate for this situation.
Just based on what you're doing.
You know what I mean?
By the way, Mike, they actually asked their wedding photographer if he would do it, and he's like, nah.
Of course not.
What do you mean, of course not?
Man, he has a professional business. He doesn't want to be doing smut photos.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's different
I just
than
want
me.
to be the DJ, man.
As she walks out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
You about to get busy.
Yeah, mama.
Yeah, they want you
do
there.
it, aren't you? Just do it night.
Get the slow motion camera out.
Just do it night.
Yeah, mama.
Oh, maybe.
Let me get a wide angle shot of that damn
man.
thing.
Slip out of them fuzzy slippers.
Hey, brother, word of advice. Remember the end of Ragdoll from Aerosmith?
You're gonna finish that hot pocket before we start, or you want to keep eating it?
Two thieves in Sweden pulled off a hell of a heist on Tuesday afternoon. They stole some priceless gold crowns from a cathedral, and then they got away on a speedboat.
You know what they took before they got to the speedboat?
This is badass.
What?
And witnesses pointed it out like this. So the two dudes steal the jewels, and then they hopped on, as they say, women's bikes, rode down to the dock, and then jumped in the speedboat.
Nice. Like jewels and crowns and everything.
And broad daylight. And I guess it's like a tradition for the Swedish royalty or something to put all these things on display.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like to have them stolen?
Yeah, like once a year they put them on, and it's like a big tradition there. And these guys are like, yeah, the hell with that.
You'd think that security would be the highest on that day.
I would think that. But we're all right, Mike, you work in like the auction world, but like, where would I fence these? All right, so I have stolen these. Everyone on Earth is aware of these, and anyone interested in buying these from me certainly knows where they're from, right?
Yeah, and that's really kind of the big whoopsie with buying that kind of stuff, is that you've got to sell it to somebody who is already crooked.
Yeah, I suspect you already have connections.
Right, you're not going to go to a public market or a jeweler and sell this stuff off unless you sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
Or just go to a pawn shop, I guess. I don't know.
I'll give you $50.
Oh, they'll find it there for sure.
Look for a leather
That's
bag.
the first place they look.
Two men in their 70s got into a fist fight at a Costco in South Carolina on Sunday after one of them cut the line to get free samples.
Don't do that.
The cops came, but they wound up not making any arrests.
They don't do that. I'll tell you why, man. There's a spectrum, and it's like the range game on The Price is Right. I figured this out the other day. I was walking home, right? This dad was walking with his little kid in the neighborhood.
Yep.
The kid's on the side of the sidewalk just peeing everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got his pants down to his ankles because you know why? He's a little kid. He has to go. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly acceptable in our day and age when you know, like, this little kid's got to go to the bathroom.
It's understood.
His dad's teaching him to pee in the bushes. However, if dad had to go real bad and was peeing in the bushes, that kid might have to have the mom come and pick him up while he goes to jail.
And
the same thing happens when you get a little where you can pee yourself again. Mm-hmm. At that age, you get the same pass. You could beat the living hell out of somebody, you know, when you're the same age. Be like, just go home. Okay, see you later, Fred.
If you pee yourself, you get a break.
So, like, that's why when you get old, you just start blaming it on everything.
At the beginning and the end, you get a break.
Sir, why are you peeing in the bushes? I'm old. I can't make it home anymore.
Yeah, just go home, guys. Come on.
Continent.
You come into Costco on Tuesdays. You come in on Thursday from now on. Deal? Okay.
A man in Ohio broke a car window in a Walmart parking lot to save two dogs inside. But the cops found the dogs had only been in there for like 8 minutes, so they cited the guy for criminal damage.
Mm-hmm. Got to pay for that window.
Yep. Again, on that same token, I would rather he bust this guy's window down to save these two dogs as opposed to these two dogs are dead in a hot car because somebody just had to run in real fast.
I'm right there with you. But that's the chance you take. I'm sure they'll still take it easy on him. Like, just pay for the window. Bygones are bygones. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the dogs are like, Jesus Christ, man, you scared the hell out of us.
Sometimes they do pant out of nervousness, not necessarily hotness, so be aware of that.
The worst part about it is, as you can attest, having to vacuum all the glass out of the inside of your car.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A man in North Carolina bought his wife a $20 lottery ticket for her birthday on Sunday, which isn't very romantic, and she didn't win anything. But he also bought one for himself and won $100,000.
Okay, that's romantic.
He says he's spending it on her. He says
That's what he
he's
said.
spending it on her.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing in an interview.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
only...
yeah, sure.
Whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I only won $100,000, honey.
65 grand when it's all done. Yeah, all on you.
A new study found the happiest states in America are...
Drunken.
Well, not a bad call. However, Utah is one of them.
Utah's one of the happiest states?
Yes.
Huh.
Minnesota, South Dakota, Colorado, Utah, and North Dakota.
That's odd. I mean, other than Colorado, California I get, but it seems like most of those states, I guess, if you live there, that is exactly where you want to be.
You don't have a whole lot to complain about. You're good.
You don't have a whole lot of anything, Mike.
The unhappiest states are...
Arkansas, West Virginia, Mississippi.
Yep.
Alabama.
Yep.
Tennessee.
I will say this, Mike. I always look at these lists because West Virginia is always the top.
And congratulations on the longevity.
And it shocked me that West Virginia was not. And I thought, what have we done? How do we climb so far up two notches to number 48? And lo and behold, and I don't know if you're working on this or not,
Probably not.
The number one state of unhappiness
Let me guess, Mississippi?
No, it's Rhode Island.
What?
And I'm like, why Rhode Island? Like, aren't they on the Atlantic Ocean? They've got fish. They've got, you know what I mean? Something. Like, they've got
There's
anything.
a million places you can go.
You're only a minute away from going to Boston, Connecticut, New York. I mean, you're not too far away to get anywhere, right? I mean, just get on frickin' 95 and go.
Olive Garden posted a photo on Tuesday that appeared to show a new makeup line inspired by their most popular menu items, but it turns out it was just a joke.
As it should be.
But plenty of people online love the idea.
Did you read the names of some of these?
Of course not. I'm not working on it.
It was, so keep in mind, people were
There's some
upset
around
that this was
breadsticks.
not real.
It's none of the
There
food
was,
that you
like-
order.
That's right. No, there was one that was like marinara rouge. I mean, all the stuff like, why would you want this? But people really did.
Have something based on the breadsticks.
I think they did, but I don't remember what
It'd be
it was.
garlic based. Then.
Scientists finally have a good theory for why so many boats have disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle. They say it's the perfect position to get rogue waves, which are deadly 100-foot waves that come and go in just a few minutes.
So what about a plane?
Well,
I mean, they're not flying 100 feet above the surface of the ocean, I would think.
And there were a lot
Maybe
of.
they are.
Well, they used to have a theory that it was
Aliens.
gas being
Oh,
emitted,
methane, right.
Methane coming up. But the idea is that is a very shallow area. So if you do have a rogue wave that comes up,
It's going to be taller than most. Right.
exactly. So it's going to kind of come up like a
Doesn't
break,
explain the planes, man.
just kind of like a surf break. You know, that's where the big waves come up. There's
That's
a
where the
shallow
Kraken
point out
comes in,
there.
Thrill.
Right.
7% of people
exactly.
have lied to get out of jury duty, according to a new survey.
That's it?
7%.
Only 7%?
There's actually a gender split.
All right, what do you got?
Who do you think lies more between men and women?
I'm guessing guys? I don't know.
What do you think, Robin?
I think
She's got her hand raised. She knows.
Oh, that's us. It's got to be us.
No.
I'm saying guys.
I think guys got to lie more just about basic stuff. Like if you go out, we don't care.
With
You
a
know what I mean?
10% share of their gender at the most, men say they've lied versus just 4% of women.
Wow.
I believe it because the one thing, and I mean this in the best way possible, but think about the TV shows that gear toward women, the TV shows that gear toward guys, and essentially sitting on jury duty is listening in on gossip.
Yeah.
Honest to God. I mean, in the end, most guys, it's like, man, unless you can guarantee me some juicy case, like,
And it
I
never
can't
is.
sit here and listen to two groups of people just lie constantly. You know what I mean? It just drives me crazy. And I'm not interested in anyone's past life. I don't care if she's a slut. I don't give a rat's pink ass. I have zero interest in it.
A woman in Massachusetts freaked out when she saw a spider on Monday and flipped her car because that's the
Jesus.
logical frickin' response.
Which, well, maybe she wasn't paying attention. She just saw it in her car and yanked the wheel, and that was the
Yeah,
outcome.
because that's the logical response.
But it had nothing to do
is,
with the
oh
spider.
my God,
My
this
buddy
little
spilled
tiny
it.
spider's in my car.
My
Let
buddy-
it derail the damn
My
thing.
buddy spilled his lemonade and flipped a car. I mean, like, you know.
Can we not freak out so much?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a phobia of spiders, Mike, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm aware of that, but I have a phobia of heights. Every time I go up on a cliffside, I don't just dive off the damn
But
thing.
you don't accidentally just find yourself on a cliff. You had to go up there.
Yeah.
That's true. You're not
But
surprised
sometimes
that
it's
you're on a
surprising
Oh,
with
where
bam,
did
there's
this-
a view.
Where did this cliff come from? As I've been
I don't
hiking
veer.
up this
I
mountain
might hit
for
the
hours.
brake. I don't veer. A judge in Ohio had a man that wouldn't sit and listen to his sentencing, so he had to improvise as to how to get him to listen.
What do you do?
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile
Hey,
This.
Stephen, throw a hook, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
A short game, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jared. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Jared, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. We go to the state of Michigan, where a man testified that a 30-year-old woman gave him a, quote, weird grin seconds before she stabbed him, 9 times in bed, the same place that they had just had sex. He testified that the incident occurred after he asked her for oral sex, but declined her response to make a commitment to her. So basically, hey, hook me up, baby. She wanted to know how committed he was to the relationship. I guess he was not as committed as she would like. So he says she leaned her back against the wall. He's still laying there in bed. And he says, quote, she had a big smile, big grin on her face, like one of those weird, funny grins, like she just caught me doing something. Said then he rolled over. About a minute later, he felt what he thought was a punch in the back of his neck. Then he thought it was an injection from a syringe. He finally turned over and saw that she had a steak knife. He said, quote, she had a shocked look on her face, like she couldn't believe I was still alive or whatever. I'm trying to grab the knife out of her hand while she's still swinging. She's swinging it all wild with it. He added that at one point, he did have that hand, he did manage to get a hold of her hand that had the knife, but there's so much blood on his hand that she managed to slip it out of there. Sure. So at this point, he says, I'm trying to tell her I love her, trying to say anything to get her to stop. He finally was able to get her to stop. She dropped the knife and ran out of the room. So he went and got a cell phone. He's trying to call for 911 backup, and there's a couple of problems. One, he's losing blood, so he's having a hard time speaking. 2, he's at her place, doesn't know the address. And while this is happening, she threw a pot of boiling scallops at him.
Golly!
Long story short, he ended up surviving.
Jesus!
She was arrested and potentially could face life in prison. The question is, do you believe that this dude was black, white, Mexi, or Asian? And he dropped off the goddamn line.
Wait a minute, boiling scallops?
So he had gotten her out of the room at this point, all right? And he's going to call 911. He's on the phone, and they say if you listen to the recording, you can hear this happening. He sees her because she was cooking scallops, grabbed the boiling pot of scallops, threw it at him. He managed to close the door. Then, keep in mind, while he's on the phone with 911, and you can hear this, you can hear her stabbing the door. She's now stabbing through the door, kind of like The Shining.
Okay, who boils scallops?
I don't know.
I guess they're in the shell. It's not freshwater. That's weird. That sounds awful white.
You think white?
Boiling scallops? I mean, wouldn't you dust them in something and blacken them or something?
I would.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just think logic says that this woman's got to be white.
You say white?
She boiled scallops, dude.
All right. There you go.
Okay, final answer. We're going to find out if she was black, white, Mexican, or Asian next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, so we head to Michigan for profile. This is a bizarre case. It sounds like things were going real well for this guy.
To a point.
And then they started negotiating some negotiations. And I'm assuming that he wasn't feeling it, or I don't know what's going on.
He asked for oral sex from her, but in return, she wanted some kind of romantic commitment. I don't know.
Oh, is that what it was?
I don't know.
I thought she just wanted to reciprocate it.
No.
Oh, all right.
I think he was willing to, do Scatman Crothers.
That was enough to piss him off.
Well, either way, she wanted some kind of commitment, which he was not willing to give, so I assume it's upper-level commitment.
I see. Okay.
He said no. About 60 seconds went by, and she started stabbing him.
In the back of the neck?
In the back, when he finally managed to fight her out of the room. He'd already been stabbed 9 times.
But he called 911 anyway.
And it was a 13-minute 911 call. Again, 1, because he's gurgling with blood, and 2, it's her place. He doesn't know the address. So I'm assuming this hookup.
Did this guy make it?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He did survive. Right. This was part of his testimony in court. And keep in mind, the door was open. He's calling 911. He assumed that she had left. But no, she was grabbing the boiling scallops off of the stove that she was cooking and threw these at him. He managed to close the door before it hit him. But you can hear all this on the call. And then, while he's on the call, you now hear her trying to stab her way through the bedroom door.
See, the only thing that I can think of here is these are fresh scallops still in the shell. And you boil them to pop them open. If this is the case, I truly believe this woman is white. That's the only thing that I thought about. Who boils scallops and why? And I don't know why you got fresh scallops in Michigan. If you didn't, I still don't know why you would boil scallops, for crying out loud. I just think it's white. No!
Sorry. Black.
Really?
And they even point out that she's a singer. It's like, I'm reading this article,
Okay, well,
all this stuff she did, and like, by the way, she's recorded with several artists.
You see her Friday night.
Give her a call.
Club.
Oh, yeah.
Jazz Club. All right. God damn it. Really? Unbelievable. Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Oh, look out. It's Mike Hogg again in for the Ted Smith.
I'm back.
Man, they put a hell of a support staff behind you to get you ready for all this stuff
They
today,
did,
didn't they?
man.
Unbelievable
I'd like to thank,
how they take care of you.
I'd like to thank all of the writers that brought me here today I could just read off this cleverly designed script here. So as you guys know, that in the television and movie industry, there are kind of ebbs and flows. There are people that come and go. There's the flavor of the month is what we call it. In the comedy world, there was a man that was flavor of the month that was more into the stoner style of movie. You guys remember Seth Rogen at all?
Sure.
Yeah,
of course.
sure.
I don't remember the last thing I saw him in.
Seth, you remember him as he's done nude scenes.
He's done nude
He's
scenes.
done
Yes,
full
he has.
frontal
That's right.
nudity, which
Thanks for that, by the way.
Right. I mean, like,
Thank you,
well,
Seth.
that's the thing. Like when I knew it was a Seth Rogen film, that was not what I was going. That's not what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, you didn't think Seth Rogen?
I didn't think he was
penis
going.
man.
I didn't think he was going to go full frontal on me. That's back to the unexpected penis.
Does he get anywhere without James Franco?
Yes, of course, absolutely.
think? Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
'Cause
I think they both do well. On
I feel like the first time that I saw him was either in Superbad or in Pineapple Express. Now, I guarantee that he was in things before that, but I feel like it was Pineapple Express that really kind of shot him to the forefront.
Because it was Pineapple Express, man.
Yeah, true enough.
He's
Just
a very-
saying, James Franco, man.
He always played a very likable character.
Absolutely. So he was recently he did an interview with Rolling Stone. They do a web a YouTube series, I believe. This is a segment on it that is called First Time. They interviewed and they asked the first time that you did this, first time that you did that.
All right.
And we actually Seth Rogen actually where he lives is near Kanye West. And he talks about the first time that he met Kanye West.
First time I met Kanye West was around 12 years ago. My house is right around the corner from a personal trainer who trains famous people, basically. And he trained Kanye West. And one morning, I was leaving my house, and Kanye West jogged by me and said, "You're a funny motherfucker." And then I was just like, I think that was Kanye West, but I wasn't 100% sure. A few weeks later, I was sleeping in. On the weekend, I drank a lot the night before, and my wife was over. We have a buzzer at our door that's attached to the phone system, and early in the morning, like, the phone rang, and I heard her answer it, and she just was like, "Hello?" And I just heard her go, "Can Seth come outside and play basketball?" She goes, "Who is this?" And then I just hear her go, "Kanye who?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's Kanye West!" And I ran downstairs, and like literally, like he was standing at my front door with like a basketball under his arm, and was like, "You want to come play?"
Mr. West is in the building.
Like he was just a kid in the neighborhood, and I was like, "Dude, honestly, I'm like so hungover, I can't do this." And I run into him periodically over the years, and I love Kanye West.
He's probably the first one I've ever heard that says I love Kanye West.
Well, that's your interaction with him. Why not, man?
Sure.
We've had this conversation, though. Kanye who? Isn't that basically the same thing as saying Oprah who?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You mean Oprah Johnson or Oprah Winfrey?
There's no other Kanye.
No.
If they do, they say their whole name. Like, I am Kanye Stevens.
Right.
And he was
So
named
you
after Kanye West.
Exactly. Yeah, you were named after Kanye West. We get it. It's like when you meet a kid named Denzel. Like, look, man, I don't know if your mom's told you about the crush she's got, but it ain't your dad. You're not Junior. Your name's Denzel.
That's right. He probably gets that interaction over and over again where there's somebody running by him and they tell him either how much they enjoy his work.
Or how much they hate him.
He's a funny mother effer. It's just Kanye West. All right. Yeah. I have been watching some new shows recently. I know this is kind of out of character for me, but I have picked up some new shows. I actually bent to the will of the people. It has been recommended to the show multiple times, and my brother-in-law actually sat me down and said, "You got to watch at least the first episode." And I did, and I have watched the entire series so far on Hulu of Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Really?
Rick and Morty. Have either of you guys dabbled into this
I've
yet?
heard about it, but I've not
Give me
watched
the overview.
So the overview is it is a show about a family. They live together with the mother's grandfather. That is Rick. He is this kooky scientist. He's this mad scientist guy, and he goes on these weird interdimensional adventures with his grandson Morty.
Okay.
And
So
Morty,
like into space and time, back in the future, and
they go into alternate realities, alternate
nice. All right.
alternate timelines. You know,
All
this
right.
is a timeline where this happened, or they also do go throughout different planets and different solar systems and all that kind of stuff. And
My grandfather sucked then. I mean, seriously, dude. Like, he did great things for me, but
ice
nothing
cream,
like that.
ice cream.
That's exactly right. But the first episode, it was one of those shows where I watched the first episode, got a chuckle or two, but it was just a quick one-off line that they said, and I wondered, why the hell am I watching this? Let's watch episode 2. And I hit episode 2, and I started watching that. Same thing. I finished that one. I don't know why he had me watch this. Episode 3. And by the time I knew it, I was done with the dadgum show.
You'd watched the season.
I had. Yes. And it is a funny show. It's weird. It's like a more extreme version of like Family Guy and Futurama slammed together.
Okay.
The one thing that I did notice, because I've binge watched the entire thing, and this is my stickler coming out, as they go on through the show, they've started to bend to. They understand that their audience is binge watching this. They're not necessarily waiting week after week to watch it at midnight on Cartoon Network. They're waiting till it gets onto Hulu, where the FCC doesn't fly. And so as the seasons progress, the profanity just kind of gets more and more, which I do take notice of that. And takes
away from it.
Right. We've talked about it on this show. Sometimes the fun and funniness of a show is kind of dancing around.
Yeah.
Well,
the
sure.
FCC.
Look, man, most people, if you refer to a penis, 99% of the people I know just say the D word.
Right.
And it's not meant to be offensive. It's just what we call it, okay? So FCC says you can't say it. So instead, people talk about, like, the incredible heat-seeking moisture missile, the mayonnaise cannon, the one-man Bishop.
Yogurt.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you could just say it, you would say it and be done. And we can't say, right, and 99% of the people I know, when referring to a vagina, there's a P word that comes up. Again, it's not meant to be offensive. It's what people say, but now you get the mousy cod, you get the moose knuckle, you get the tuskless walrus.
The ham wallet.
Right, man. I mean, it's like, listen, that's where we have to go with this.
Exactly.
And credit where credit's due. Howard Stern, like as your kid listening to Howard, like he's the guy who you're like, oh, that's great.
Right.
And the FCC forced his hand. Because of that, man, you get better comedy than not. You really do.
Exactly. So it is a fun show. I do recommend that you check it out. It is a ton of fun. Another one that I picked up again on Hulu. What do you know? I found the magic of Hulu. For those of you guys that know, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I actually prefer books. I prefer to read. My own imagination.
You ever read a
is the best.
cookbook, motherfucker?
No, I have not.
I know what I'm buying you for Christmas.
Guess what?
We're going to start with the basics on this one.
I just flipped through and say that looks gross.
Give me
That
the
looks
Betty
gross.
Crocker original one.
So I've said it before. Does anybody know who my favorite author is?
Are you kidding me?
Wait, I'm going to say it.
Wait,
hold on.
What
Hold
genre?
On.
What
hold
genre?
on. Hold on.
All
Hold
right.
on. This has got to be. Is it? Yeah. It's not like.
Is it someone we read
new
in
or
high
old
school?
It's not someone that you read in high school, but you do very well know this person's name.
Is it like Mark Twain or something very Americana-ish?
No, it's not old
like
classics.
that? All right, it's not old.
Then I have no idea.
Very well-known name in the world of books.
Hold on, like John Grisham or
Close.
Michael
You're
Crichton.
circling on Stephen King.
Stephen King
is my favorite.
I almost thought that, but that's you know what? I'm being dead honest. All right,
It's just too vanilla?
So yes, it's so obvious, and there's
The answer is China.
right. Like I thought it, but I'm like, no, it's not going to be
Come on.
Stephen King. But it's honest to God,
It
Stephen
honestly is
Any-
Stephen King.
White rice, Stephen King, and spaghetti.
My favorite book of his was Misery. I thought it was a fantastic novel.
Okay.
And he's not so much lately. I don't know. His newer books aren't really grabbing me like they used to. The Mr. Mercedes series was fantastic. But anyway, he has got a series on Hulu that he has actually teamed up with J.J. Abrams that is called Castle Rock. For those of you that have either watched a ton of Stephen King-based movies or read a bunch of his books, you know that he has a town in Maine that he has created that is called Castle Rock.
and that's where everything goes wrong.
That's right.
In a fictitious world.
Yes.
Okay, because some town is going to change the name. And one day you'll be able to go there.
You wouldn't want to live in Castle.
By
No.
Stephen King stuff.
That's where, like Needful Things came from and all
Every
that. So-
bad thing that happens.
That's what
Exactly.
Pet Cemetery is.
And it's a new series, and they're not doing the Netflix route of releasing an entire season just in a bundle. They're doing episode by episode. It's released every Wednesday. I haven't watched this week's episode. There's only 3 episodes that are out right now, and it's pretty well got me hooked.
Really?
Okay.
It takes place in Shawshank Prison. For those of you that ever watched the greatest movie ever, Shawshank Redemption. This takes place obviously years after the events of Shawshank Redemption happened, and then they find this devil-like child locked in a chamber downstairs. He's not a child, really. He's a young adult, but he's a kid as far as...
Kidnapping. I love it.
That's But he is supposed to be some demon entity. He's that weird guy that just kind of stares into a corner. Bad things happen whenever he's around, and it's circling around it. And it's got Sissy Spacek in it. For those of you
She's always weird.
She always does
man.
serious stuff too.
That's right.
She was Carrie, man.
She was Carrie.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've... Oh, that's right. The kid that plays the Devil Child is actually the same actor, Bill Skarsgård. He played Pennywise in the latest version of It.
Damn. You want to get into Stephen King then?
They all have a connection.
That's right.
Somehow to Stephen King.
So it's a fun little series. I do highly recommend it. All right, Miles, you know how I do love a top 10 list.
Oh, yeah.
Can we fire up this top 10 list?
Yeah, all right. We can do
okay,
that
so we did touch on it a little bit earlier today, but I have for you the top 10 highest paid TV actors of all time.
Oh, all time.
10, number 10.
I know what you're thinking, but wait for it.
No. I know it's Charlie Sheen, right?
No, there's a reason why I chose this specific
Ashton
version.
Kutcher?
It is Ashton Kutcher.
Get out of here.
I have no
Damn.
idea why, but for this show, he is one of the top paid actors of all time with a $755,000 salary.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean that show.
Well, when he was
I
on
don't
top
mind.
of the world, he was on top.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it ran for long enough for him to have actually gotten a good enough paycheck on this.
Syndication must be a mother.
I think
It
it's
must
more of
be.
this. They needed someone because all that crap
Right.
was going on. He was the guy, and I think they said, "Look, he gave his price. You're going to get me to do that, right? It's going to cost you this much."
Is this one season or is this over the lifetime of this person's career? So does this count that 70s show? Like does it roll? Like does all his money roll into?
Yes, I believe it
does. Okay, so this is the total. So we could say like Julia Louis-Dreyfus or somebody like that.
Sure, she was on
Or
Seinfeld. She was
Kramer
on Veep.
or
She was on
whoever.
yeah.
Okay, so now I got it.
So
All
this
right.
does all come into one.
Okay, got it.
9, number 9.
I didn't get far in this show. Robin, you're perking your ears up. I did not get far in this show. It's a show about a doctor.
This
Isn't he
music
actually
rings
a doctor?
0 bells.
I have no idea. Dr. Quentin Menace.
He's not quite a doctor as much as, well,
He's just surgically inclined.
surgically inclined in that he understands blood.
Dexter.
Bingo.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Michael C. Hall of Dexter is pulling in a salary of at least $830,000.
Okay. And that show was on for 10 years or so.
Right.
So he did pretty well.
And unfortunately, it didn't end like anybody wanted it to, apparently.
You can't end a show the way people want.
That means it's probably coming back.
Unless it's Breaking Bad.
Okay.
8, number 8.
Come on.
God damn it. Is it the kid who plays Sheldon?
It is everybody, man. It is Johnny Galecki, Jim Parsons, and Kaylee Cuoco. Each are pulling in $1 million for Big Bang Theory.
I know you love this show. I just don't. It's not. It's fine. It's okay. My kids could watch it, but I would not voluntarily watch this on my own.
I liked the show for a good long time. My opinion, it has run its course.
Okay.
I haven't watched the past few seasons. Let's see. Last I checked, Bernadette was pregnant, and then that was the last that I ever knew.
So this is like later Def Leppard. They're making all their money, but it just sucks.
Exactly.
Okay,
Nobody's listening anymore. These are the highest paid TV actors of all time.
7, number 7.
Had to know this was in here.
All of them, right?
It is Jennifer Aniston, David Schwimmer, Matthew Perry, Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, and Lisa Kudrow.
Worst theme song ever.
I will toss in...
Jennifer Aniston said she'd be willing to do a Friends thing.
Absolutely. She was recently interviewed and said that she would be really willing. She's really excited about the idea of a Friends reunion. However, not a whole lot of other people are excited about it. She's thinking about possibly getting the girls together and just kind of reviving Golden Girls, although that kind of sounds like a pipe dream. I think it'd be fun.
That poor woman.
All you got to do was she set up a guaranteed show 15 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do Golden Girls now, right?
Exactly. So she is pulling in $1 million. Actually, they're all pulling $1 million.
6, number 6.
I've never seen an episode of this show. Oh, Robin's on it, though.
Robin, mad about you?
Yes.
It is absolutely mad about you. This
How
is
did you nail that? I'm
when the
sorry.
piano started. That's all.
This is Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. They are again pulling $1 million each.
Okay.
5, number 5.
Seinfeld.
Even back then?
Even back then.
Okay.
If this is just Jerry Seinfeld, it says that he's pulling $1 million plus, so that means that he's at least over there, but they don't know quite what he's pulling, but I think it's... With the reruns alone, man. Yeah. So these are the highest paid TV actors of all time.
4, number 4.
I I took this show for granted when it was on when I was younger. I started watching it with my brother-in-law here recently. It is a good show. Wait for it. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tim Allen.
That's the one.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement pulling in $1.25 million.
Jesus.
Number 3.
Smartest show on television.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling.
Frasier.
Toss salads
Frasier.
and scrambled eggs.
Kelsey Grammer.
White style. Baby, I see
Kelsey Grammer pulling in 1.6.
God, I hated that show.
Oh, no,
Number 2.
everybody loves this guy.
Is it Raymond? Everybody loves
It is.
Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond. Ray Romano pulling in $1.7 million.
And then the cheese after.
We've made it to number 1 of the highest paid TV actors.
Guesses?
Number 1.
It's not Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, what a twist!
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
It is Charlie Sheen. $1.8 to $2 million for that man. He is truly winning.
Wow. Thank you, Mike Hawk. We appreciate it. We will take a break. We'll get your headlines coming up here in minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Idiot at Yellowstone taunts a bison, and the bison then charges the idiot who taunted him. Meanwhile, a man driving in Brooklyn has an airborne tire crash into his windshield, and the situation is grim. It's Canada, where a mishap at McDonald's serves up some cleaning product instead. A man who harassed date for 13 years clearly has something wrong in his head, and an Ohio judge orders a man's mouth duct taped shut. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. A judge in Ohio had a man standing before him guilty of robbery charges, but he wouldn't sit and listen to his sentencing. The man was originally given a 14-year sentence 2 years ago, but was granted an appeal and a second trial. But halfway through the trial, the man cut off his ankle bracelet and took off.
Whoops.
When he was brought back into court, the man went on a 30-minute rant about how he was not given a fair trial, he was being denied justice, and after dozens of demands for him to stop, the bailiff was instructed to literally duct tape the man's mouth shut.
I think there was more going on with that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He probably needed to go to a different institution first, been evaluated, then gone to court.
Unless that was the plan from the beginning.
I don't know.
Yeah,
different kind of institution.
He was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Yeah, it's if you're innocent, you don't have to run.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
From the jury, that is, cutting your ankle bracelet. Other
I
news.
like that move, though.
I'm out.
Later.
See ya. You'll never catch me.
In Canada, oversight at a local McDonald's led a woman to call poison control. The pregnant woman bought a latte through the drive-thru, but immediately spit out the drink after the first sip tasted like pure chemicals.
Ah, you will know that.
She then went inside and learned that the machine was being cleaned and was hooked up to barrels of chemicals instead of the usual ingredients.
Oh, my God, and no one paid any attention
They were
to that.
running soap,
no.
and no, it wasn't soap. They actually say what it had in it.
Probably,
it was
it's probably all the
chemicals.
Stuff that kills bad stuff.
citric acid, phosphoric acid, methyl trimethyl 3, and 2-butoxenol.
If you can't say it, probably not good for you.
You don't want to drink it. That is absolutely
My friends
right.
and I all drink bleach.
It troubled the woman further to learn that this was nothing new to this particular branch. This has happened before.
That's
the health
not good.
department was notified, and an employee was sent out to the location.
Okay.
Damn, man.
She was pregnant, and she was about to drink a ton of
that's the worst
chemicals,
part.
man.
Golly.
Yellowstone.
Off to Tim Hortons.
That's right. Yellowstone National Park has to dig up the tried and true PSA that they've never had to tell people all the time.
Yes. Don't taunt the bison.
They have released a statement reminding people that all of the animals within the park are wild and are thereby unpredictable.
Why wouldn't you think that already?
I don't.
It's a bison in the middle of a national effing park. Like, what?
Listen, I agree with you, man.
I'm yelling.
You have to.
At the earth right now.
It's not
I
even,
say-
you don't have to agree with him. It's a fact.
Just look at it like this. When you go to the zoo, why do you feel safe at all?
I say that
Because
we
they have bars, man.
within the borders of Yellowstone National Park, I say we just let nature take its course.
I agree.
So, just get whatever happens, happens.
Let
in
what
there.
happens.
right.
We're going to feed the bears people. The statement had to be made after video surfaced of a man having some fun with a bison that was blocking traffic. As you guys know, if you've ever been to Yellowstone, the bison do not care. They will block traffic for hours.
And they tell you that.
That's where they live.
The animal was weaving in and out of cars but causing a jam, so the man left his car and had a standoff with it. He can be seen posturing up and grunting at the animal, taunting it before it charges.
What did he think it was going to do?
I think he was doing like a bullfighter routine just based on what I saw with the video.
Yeah, but even a bullfighter, the idea is that the bull's going to race toward you. So
Right.
even if that's what you're doing...
And you do intend to kill it when you're done with it.
And he's a professional bullfighter.
Right.
You're just an idiot.
He does seem to sidestep the animal, but the video cuts before we see how the encounter ended. I just hope that it ended up with one less people. Officers in Minnesota have released some of the excuses that they've gotten from drivers as to why they were speeding. Some of the most notable excuses are needing to get to a Taco Bell before it closes.
Understood.
Having borrowed a cake pan.
Wait, Taco Bell closes? Okay.
Yeah, right. Having borrowed a cake pan and was excited to get back home and bake.
Come on, man.
Trying to get air in the truck due to a busted AC.
All right. That makes sense. Got to go faster to get that cold air.
Right. One officer even told of the fastest car he had seen, a Camaro rocketing at 171 miles an hour on the freeway.
Oh, my.
He said it's a rocket on wheels.
Don't you have?
Yep.
And?
The meter goes all the way up to 180.
And?
I've gone like maybe 102.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's the right answer to give publicly.
You just want to hit 100 and you backed off.
Yeah. I just wanted to hit the triple digits.
You can tell us the truth when we kill the mics.
Exactly.
We go to New York, where the subway system has gotten more bizarre than usual. A man was spotted going into the subway system, dragging a brown leather couch along with him and onto the train. After the couch got onto the train, the doors closed and he sat back and lounged on his ride. That's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Mike, thank you so much. Hell of a job today, man. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time for Ted versus the FCC. Bad jokes, and we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, we be all about those bad. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.